All right, we're talking government shutdown to start off this morning. Here's where we are on day 22, kicking off the fourth week. Senators will return today for their 12th vote. They were in session yesterday, but did not vote on the spending bill. It's failed 11 times so far. Top Democrats are asking President Trump to get involved to help with negotiations. Some Republicans agree that President Trump's involvement would help. This is now the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. The current record is 34 full days from December 2018 to January 2029. As the shutdown drags on, food banks across the country are bracing for another wave of need, with thousands of Americans relying on federal food aid. Agencies say the clock is ticking before critical programs like SNAP and WIC run dry. Nearly 42 million Americans rely on SNAP each month, and many could miss November's payment if the shutdown continues. Feeding America reports an average of 30% increase in food bank traffic nationwide during the prolonged shutdown or funding lapse. The USDA provides up to 20% of food bank inventory through federal programs, supplies that are now frozen or delayed until the government funding is restored. Let's look at the need here in Metro Atlanta. Waide is with us this morning. He's president and CEO of the Atlanta Community Food Bank. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Kyle, we talked with you at the start of the shutdown a few weeks ago. Have you seen much of a difference so far?
Well, we're certainly starting to experience lots of inquiries from neighbors across North Georgia who are worried about what's about to happen. Call volume to the food bank, traffic at our website, those numbers are up significantly over the last few weeks. We're seeing some increased traffic across our food pantry network. And, this is already on top of a record level of demand that we're already experiencing. We're serving 70% more people today than we did 3.5 years ago as a result of inflation. Federal workers next week will miss their first full paycheck, which is going to increase demand some beyond where it is today. And then the big threat is if the shutdown continues into November, starting on November 5th, households that rely on SNAP benefits will not receive those benefits. And that will create a massive disruption for many households across the community.
Yeah, it's going to get worse. You guys also rely on federal funding as well. How much of a hit have you guys taken?
Well, unrelated to the shutdown, USDA already announced earlier this year some significant cuts to programs that provide food to food banks all across the country. It was about $1 billion worth of cuts. For us locally, that amounts to about 10 million pounds of food that we would have otherwise received that we won't receive now. The shutdown won't necessarily cut anything new beyond that. It could, as we get further into November, create some disruptions in our supply chain. But we're going to have to work hard with our community partners, supporters, donors, to find other sources of food to replace some of that. And we're already preparing to buy more food to try to fill in the gap. But again, Chesley, the big issue is if SNAP benefits are turned off, that's going to create a level of demand that's far beyond what the food bank can meet.
Wow. And so your biggest challenge will be that which you just said, right?
Yeah, there are about 750,000 individuals in the 29 counties we serve who rely on SNAP benefits. They receive $130 million a month in benefits that go to food purchasing. And the value of food that our food bank distributes in a year is about $280 million. So just in 1 month, that equates to half of our total volume in a year, just 1 month of disruption to SNAP. There's just not a way for us to fill in that gap entirely. We're going to do it the best we can. But the key thing we need is for our leaders in Washington to find a way to reach a resolution and get the government back open to ensure that we do not cause further harm in our community.
Yeah, speaking of those leaders, if you had a chance to talk to them, what would you tell them about how the folks here in Georgia are facing consequences due to the shutdown?
Yeah, we're in dialogue with folks on both sides, both chambers, just to let them know what we're seeing. The politics of this is not something we get involved in, but we do want them to understand, what the impact of the government not being open is having, so that they can factor that into their decision making.
Yeah. All right. And so if anybody that's out there watching and want to help and get involved, how do they do that with you, Kyle?
Yeah, so go to our website, acfb.org. We're going to spend a good chunk of money, several $1,000,000 worth of money to buy food. We're going to need the community support to be able to sustain that if this is prolonged. And so you can go to that website, acfb.org, to donate. You can also find ways to volunteer. You can find pantries that are close to you that you can get involved in and help support their efforts. And you can get involved in other ways. So go to our website. That's a great front door to finding ways to get involved.
Kyle Waide, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and appreciate everybody's support out there in the community.
Absolutely.